Hey, Driver Nation, and welcome back to another Driver Spotlight. Today's spotlight is Bryan out of Miami. He's actually been with us since May of last year, 2022. He has taken 418 deliveries. The total delivery cost on that has been $175,000 worth of food. Welcome, Bryan, y'all. Your face.
Wow.
You didn't
Say that again.
expect
A
that?
hundred and what?
$175,000 worth of food delivered. That's awesome. And not even a year.
Wow. Okay. All right. I didn't know that number, but that's actually good to hear. That's what's up. Yeah.
That is
I wasn't
awesome.
expecting that.
Definitely good to hear and definitely good to see since a short period of time that you've been on the platform. So congratulations on that. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Oh,
for the
you're
order
welcome.
volume.
So let me ask you, how did you even get started with the gig economy?
All right. So the gig economy, at first I was just a regular person just trying to work my 9 to 5. I worked in the school system and
Okay.
after my wife after she got pregnant with my first son, and I was only making about $700 every 2 weeks. Um, it really dawned on me like, okay, listen, this is not going to be enough. $700 every 2 weeks, especially when I started to contact my employer to find out how much would my son's insurance cost because I was
Mm-hmm.
going to put him on my benefits, right? And when we ran those numbers, at first it started off with like 400 dollars a month. Then it jumped up to about $700 a month. So
Oh
technically
wow.
speaking, at first I was making about 1,400. Then my son alone would take half my pay for the entire month. So I realized that that wasn't going to work. And being a father, I said, okay, well, I got to step my game up. I started to look for other jobs. I did find a few others, but they were just taking up too much of my time. And when my son was born, um, I had to make a decision on how do I free up my time to help my wife with my son because she was on I forgot what it's called exactly. I get confused between the paternal and maternal leave. She was on
Maternal.
I think I don't
Maternal
know.
is for females.
She was on a leave, okay, and she was on a leave for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Um, and I said, okay, well, I need to find another option. And when I realized that I got into Uber Eats
Mm-hmm.
and I realized that it was easy to make about $400 in 24 hours at the time. I said, okay, I'm gonna really, really dive in here, and just focus so much on it to the point where I realized I started making more money with Uber Eats than I was doing at my job.
Wow.
And I said, well, something's got to change. um, I know I didn't know all the details,
Mm-hmm.
but once I realized there was much more opportunities working full time, I decided to just make that switch. I spoke with my family. I
Okay.
let them know my mind was made, everything was set, and even if they shared their opinions, it wouldn't really matter
It
at
didn't
that time
matter.
because I was just ready to go.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. You
No
mentioned
problem.
other platforms besides Deliver That. So let me ask you, why Deliver That?
Well, deliver that. I know in the introduction you mentioned that I've been on the platform since last year.
Correct.
But deliver that came. I signed up for deliver that previously, but I just never got started. Um, and it was during the time when you guys were doing like the ride alongs. Like I would have to schedule a time
Mm,
with the person and get in the car and ride along with them, and I couldn't do it at the time. But that was that was years ago. That was maybe about 3 years ago.
okay.
Um, but not moving forward with that, I a driver that's part of the YouTube community of drivers that from my YouTube channel. I he contacted me and he let me know like, hey, deliver that. It's a pretty good option, but it's difficult to get orders. and he said that they're going to be in Fort Lauderdale tomorrow at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You should go check them out. I kind of let them know, kind of briefed them that I know somebody that might be coming to check them out, and I said, okay, all right, well, I'll stop by. And when I stopped by and I had a conversation with you and I had a conversation with Christian, I was like, this is not the deliver that I remember. you Even though I didn't get the experience, right? Because I never finished the entire process at that time.
Uh-huh.
I said, this sounds way better and more interesting than what I'm doing currently, which is like, the smaller orders, less pay. Sometimes you might have to drive a little bit more, but you would be on the road a lot longer. And in a nutshell, when I saw the opportunity, especially with the order volume on DeliverThat, I really started zeroing in on the opportunities it would create for me. Now, my daughter is a senior, but at the time last year we were traveling a lot. We
Hmm.
were she plays travel soccer.
Okay.
So just seeing that I can make more in less time without the stress of trying to filter through all the orders that I don't want or the
Mm-hmm.
orders that are just too far, and still having that flexibility to go out there and make my money and have enough time to spend time with my family, take care of the things that my wife would need help with, and my daughter going on these trips for travel soccer. It was definitely a plus. The order volume
Awesome.
was there. Why not take advantage of it? That's what I
Awesome.
said to myself. And when I saw that opportunity, I said, "Let's go." I'm about to I'm about to turn things up a bit.
That's so crazy that you talked about our trip here to Florida. I had an incredible time. I remember you coming up to the table and you were asking so many questions, and the questions that you were asking was definitely let me know that you were definitely set apart from all the other drivers that we have had
Mm.
on the platform. And still to this day, I can definitely see that you are set apart from a lot of our drivers.
Over 100, almost $200,000 worth of food, and what
Less
was
than a
that?
year.
Maybe 10, what,
10
nine,
months.
10 months?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
you told us a little bit about more of your background in the delivery world, but I want to
Mhm.
get to know Bryan outside of the delivery world. So I have four questions I just want to run by you, and the first question I have for you is, what is the best piece of advice that a family member has ever given you?
Well, my grandfather on my father's side, um, it was before he passed. I was just a young kid, like 5 going on to 6. And something that stuck with me was he told me to learn as much as I can about everything. Never just
Mm,
settle. Never just think like you know it all. Um, Learn as much as you can, because sometimes you never know who you're gonna run into. And it would always be best to have a little piece of information that either you can use in a conversation with this person, or however it works out. But that was something that stuck with me, and learning as much as I can about everything, um it really kept me open minded about everything, to be honest with you. And that is something I hold near and dear to my heart. Like,
I love that. Never stop learning.
from the age of 5, and now I'm 36, and I still talk about it.
That stuck
Yeah.
with you. Wow. So let me ask, what is one thing that can instantly make your day better?
One thing that can instantly make my day better, um just seeing my kids smile. it's it lets me know I made the right decision. With everything, all the sacrifices I've made. um my wife, she made sacrifices as well, but my kids is like, we put a lot of time, we make a lot of sacrifices for our kids, and whenever I see a smile on their face, it lets me know I'm doing my job.
That's amazing. I'm kids first, family first here,
Yeah.
so I completely understand what you mean. It's everything. I tell everybody your kids are your report card. How
Yeah,
well your kids turn out, you know you did the right job.
yeah.
So if you could relive any type of moment in your life, what would it be?
Relive a moment. Hmm. Wow, that's if I could relive a moment, it's just I would say the birth of my son, my first son. Um, the reason why is because it was a special moment for me because it was like one of those situations where um just seeing him compared to my other kids, he came out and he was ready for the world. And
Mm.
the reason why I say that is because um just comparing him to the other ones, he came out, his eyes just opened right away. It's like he had complications. He suffered from jaundice.
Oh wow.
Uh, um, and he was in the NICU,
Mm.
well, NICU for babies, right?
Mhm.
So, and we were afraid because, like the nurse said to us, like these are the things that people don't discuss, about having kids, right? And I'm like, what is jaundice? What is this? And I'm like, I'm ready to hold my son, like he's my baby, but he's in the the incubator, and I'm like, I think that's what it's called, right?
Yep. You right. You saying it.
But I would have to go to my wife's room and just collect the breast milk and go down there and give them the breast milk, and it was it was uh it was a moment where I just knew that my son would be great, and
That's awesome. He fought
he
his.
is he don't get me wrong, all of my kids, they have something special about them. But the way my son came out and to compare him to the other ones, the eyes were closed for like maybe like 2 days. My first son, his name is Messiah.
Wow.
He came out, the doctor wiped him off, and he just looked at me.
Like,
I'm like, dude, you ready,
you
huh?
ready?
But yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's a moment I
awesome.
hold near and dear to me, my heart as well.
Definitely a special story. Well, I asked you kind of slipped in your age there, but I'm not sure if everyone caught it there. What
Yeah.
movie would describe your generation?
What movie?
Mm-hmm.
That's
If I'm not
interesting.
mistaken, you an '80s baby. I'm an '80s baby.
I'm an '80s baby as well, but it's like a movie.
A movie. I got breakdance
The Golden
in my
Child.
head.
I think that's the name of it.
What's the Golden Child? Is that
With Eddie
Macaulay Culkin?
Murphy and the
Oh, Eddie
kid
Murphy.
that the special kid. I think he was a monk or something.
I think I barely remember that movie that you're speaking of. Okay, okay. Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay.
I did, but it was one of those movies where it's just one of those situations where Eddie. Let's just, you know what? Let's not make this difficult. Coming to
Yeah.
America.
Hey. There you go.
Coming to America, there's a lot of things, a lot of challenges that even I remember facing as a kid growing up, and
Hmm.
just trying to create my own lane, and yeah, and coming to America would be a great one. Yeah,
Cool. Do you like the part two, Coming to America?
I ain't never watched it.
I challenge you to watch it. Definitely different from the first one, but still, it's like a watch. It's worth a watch.
Some
It took me
movies
a
when they
while.
remake it,
Uh
like,
huh.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Some movies when they remake it, I try to protect my childhood,
I
right?
know what you mean.
Like I gave Space Jam a chance, and I was like, "Oh
That was
my
right on my mind.
gosh!"
Space
So I
Jam.
didn't, I didn't do the same thing with Coming to America, but it's like the movies I grew up on; those were the movies that I loved
Yep.
as a kid growing up. So when I see a new version of it, I'm like, I don't know
Ain't the
if I'm gonna
same.
like this, and most times I'm not. I'm correct. I don't like it.
That's funny. I felt that way about the Fresh Prince. I was so disappointed in the new one. I'm like, this is not the
The
same as
Fresh
the.
Prince.
Yes,
There's a new one.
they remade the Fresh Prince, and I'm not a fan. It's not the same loving, caring family Fresh Prince we grew up on.
I need to watch this.
No, you don't.
I need to watch it to critique it.
It
But
was
I'm
like a
just like
reality show
Fresh
to me.
Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I need to watch that.
Well, you answered all my questions. And I really appreciate you taking time out to even be able to let us know about Bryan outside of Deliver That. But Ben always has a bonus question. So, Ben, what's your bonus question for Bryan?
He's a big ultimate delivery man. So UDM. I just want to know what his favorite brand to deliver for is.
He wants to know what's your favorite brand to deliver for.
You mean like restaurant?
Yes.
My ultimate favorite, Payway.
Say it again and cut out for me.
My ultimate favorite is Payway.
Oh, Payway. Why is that?
Um, the way they package the food is so much easier, and it fits in my bags flush perfectly.
Mm,
I can carry a lot of food from Payway because of how they package the food, even if it's in aluminum pans or in the plastic trays, I want to call them, right?
okay.
Or the individual bowls. I have taken large, like really large orders from Payway, and just the way that they package the food just makes things so much easier for me. So they are a restaurant that is on my favorite list, and I would take majority of the offers that I would take would come from Payway.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Well, shout out to Payway. They doing something right there.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That does make it a wrap for us here doing the driver spotlight. Until we meet again,